Hello students, today in this video I am going to talk about the structure of human skeleton. In human adult, the skeletal system is made up of 206 bones and a few cartilages, and it is grouped into two principal divisions, the axial division or the axial skeleton and the appendicular division or the appendicular skeleton. Axial skeleton, it lies along the longitudinal axis of the body, supports and protects the organs of the head, neck and the trunk part, and it comprises of 80 bones. It includes skull, vertebral column, sternum and ribs. Skull. The skull is composed of two sets of bones. One is known as cranial bone, another is known as facial bone. That totals to 22 bones. Cranial bones are 8 in number. They form of hard protective outer covering cranium for the brain. The facial region is made up of 14 skeletal elements which form the front part of the skull. A single U-shaped structure, here actually it is present, a single U-shaped bone called hyoid is present at the base of the buccal cavity, and it is also included in the skull. The skull part articulates with the superior region of the vertebral column. This is the vertebral column. This is the vertebral column. So the skull part, it articulates with the superior part of the vertebral column with the help of two occipital condyles. That is also called as dicondylic skull. So this vertebral column is also known as backbone or spine and is formed of 26 serially arranged units, and these units are known as vertebrae and is dorsally placed. This is the ventral part and this is the dorsal part, so it is ventrally placed. It extends from the base of the skull and constitutes the main framework of the trunk. Each vertebrae or vertebra has a central hollow portion that is known as neural canal through which the spinal cord passes. First vertebra is known as atlas and it articulates with the occipital condyles and supports the head. The vertebral column is differentiated into cervical vertebrae. So 7 cervical vertebrae are present, 12 thoracic vertebrae, 12 thoracic vertebrae are there, 5 lumbar vertebrae, 1 fused sacrum and 1 fused coccygeal vertebrae. So the vertebral column protects the spinal cord, supports the head and serves as the point of attachment for the ribs and musculature of the back. The first vertebrae, which is the cervical vertebrae, and that first cervical vertebrae is called the atlas and the second cervical vertebrae is called the axis. Sternum is a flat bone. This is the sternum. Sternum is a flat bone on the ventral midline of the thorax. There are 12 pair of ribs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So there are 12 pair of ribs. Each rib is a thin flat bone connected dorsally. Dorsally, that means in the back side. It is attached with the vertebral column and ventrally with the sternum. So this is the sternum part. So sternum is the flat bone and the ribs are mainly attached frontally with the sternum. The first 7 pairs of ribs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. The 7 pairs of ribs are called true ribs. Dorsally, they are attached to the thoracic vertebrae and ventrally, they are connected with the sternum with the help of hyaline cartilage. Here it is written cartilage, actually it is hyaline cartilage. This blue color, that is mainly the hyaline cartilage. The 8th, 9th and 10th pairs of ribs do not articulate directly with the sternum but join the 7th rib with the help of hyaline cartilage. So these 8th, 9th and 10th pairs of ribs, 8th, 9th and so this one is 8, this one is 9 and this one is 10th. Wait. 8th, 9th and 10th pairs of ribs are not directly connected with the sternum but they are connected with the help of 7th number of ribs and we call them as false ribs. So 8th, 9th and 10th pairs of ribs are also called as false ribs because they are not directly connected with the sternum but they are indirectly connected with the help of 7th true ribs. The last two pairs, that means 11th and 12th pairs, these two pairs of ribs are not connected ventrally with the sternum and therefore we can call them as floating ribs. So first 7 pairs of ribs are known as true ribs, 8th, 9th and 10th pairs of ribs are called as false ribs and 11th and 12th pairs, that means the last two ribs are known as floating ribs because they are not connected with the sternum. So this is the one part of the human skeleton. This is the one division of the human skeleton and that is the axial skeleton which mainly consists of skull, vertebral column, sternum and ribs. Now the second part or in the human skeleton if we see the another division. So in that division the appendicular part or appendicular skeleton is present and that appendicular skeleton it has the upper part as well as the lower part. Upper region, it mainly consists of pectoral girdle and bones of forelimb, and lower region, it mainly consists of pelvic girdle and the bones of hind limbs. That means the appendicular skeleton, it mainly consists of bones of forelimbs and hind limbs and pectoral girdle and pelvic girdle. The bones of the limbs along with their girdles constitute the appendicular skeleton. The bones of the hand, it is indicating the hand or in biological term we can also call it as forelimb. So the bones of the hand or forelimb are humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals and phalanges. And each half of the pectoral girdle This is the pectoral girdle part. Each half of the pectoral girdle consists of two bones, one clavicle and one scapula. The bones which are present in the hind limb, that means now we are talking about the bones of the legs. So this part is indicating the legs or leg or the hind limb part, and the bones which are present in the hind limb, and these are femur. This is the longest, largest and strongest bone in the body. Tibia, fibula, tarsals, metatarsals and phalanges. You can see their position. A cup-shaped bone which is known as patella. It mainly covers the knee ventrally, and you can also call it as kneecap. So this pectoral and the pelvic girdle, but before that we need to know about the pelvic girdle. So this pelvic girdle in the lower part, the half part of the pelvic girdle consists of coxal or hip bone. Coxal or hip bone. Each coxal bone is formed by the fusion of three bones: ilium, ischium and pubis. At the point of fusion of these bones is a cavity called acetabulum. Here it is not written. So that cavity where these three bones, ilium, ischium and pubis, these three bones, the fusion of these three bones, there is a cavity known as acetabulum, to which the thigh bone, this is the thigh bone or the femur, this is the thigh bone or the femur, to which the thigh bone articulates. So the pectoral girdle, and the pelvic girdle help in the articulation of upper limbs, that means forelimbs, and lower limbs or hind limb respectively with axial skeleton. So this is about the divisions or the different parts of human skeletal system. Hope you like the video. Thank you very much.